oblivion.
So, you finally returned to me, and with a guest. But first, prove yourselves worthy.
Abberoth! Face us, God thou.
Enough of this. Harbingers, entertain my dear sister for a moment.
Traveler, don't worry about me.
Such wasted potential. Orobyss would have welcomed you. See the beauty we were denied. The terror shall come back on us. Darkness reigns.
Hello everyone, Rain here. I just want to do a quick update video to my last video. First, the beginning of this video was just showcases of me actually using the build for high-end content. There wasn't enough of that in the last video, so I want to show you here. And some things have changed. Now, I noted this in the original video. There's a pinned comment about the updates, but I changed some things since I initially posted the build. Just to, some people pointed out some things that could be a little bit better. When I say a little bit, it actually took the build from like being a very good build to feeling incredible. So the biggest change is to our smite tree. Before I was grabbing Holy Fire because it gives us more ignite chance, which is converted into electrify chance over because of Order of Lagan. And I was taking Conflagration here, the hit damage versus ignited enemies, which works against electrified enemies. That's just because why not? It's gonna make Smite do a little bit more hit damage, even though that's not our focus. But it was pointed out to me, the sacrifice here actually works with ailments. I assumed it didn't. I just assumed it only applied to the actual hit damage of Smite, but it doesn't. So, and this is a more damage multiplier, so it's 250% more damage, which is pretty crazy. Of course, sacrifice comes with a big cost, that health consumed, and that's a bit scary. But we just take 5 of this atonement, which makes it not cost any health anymore, and we're all good. Now you could experiment cutting back on atonement and seeing if you can sustain the life. I'm just not that comfortable with it. When you're pushing high corruption, you don't, like, it's pretty easy to die, even when you're built really tanky, like we are right now. So I just don't want to have to worry about that. I mean, yes, we have a lot of life regain, but still we attack often. And specifically, we cast smites often, right? This is like every single time you cast a smite. In game right now, I'm casting 10 smites a second. So that's a lot of health consumed. Obviously, if you didn't mitigate any of it. So you gotta do something. But yeah, this isn't a big deal because like our tree wasn't that efficient anyway. Really, the only things we really wanted were these 5 Holy Fire points. Again, you could try to fit a few in, but like 1 less electrify per hit versus 250% more damage is just, it's a no-brainer. There's one other thing I looked at, which is this crit multi node. As you recall, we have a node on our skill tree, which I guess I can bring up right now. This one here, Judgment of the Storm. It converts our lightning damage over time. Well, it converts 2% of crit multi to 1% more lightning damage over time, which is one of our better ways to scale our damage. I thought maybe that would work with this deep impact, but it doesn't. As you, I assume it's because of the way it's worded. It says smite critical strikes deal more damage. So it seems this critical multiplier only applies. It's not generic enough to work with that node. It only applies to critical hits with smite. So that one didn't work. So ultimately, this is the tree I settled on. I have 2 extra points right now, which you'll need to do this tree in its entirety. But if you don't have those 2 extra points, you can... I mean, you could cut down to only 3 points of sacrifice. Another option is cutting a little bit of Electrify on hit chance. This one I wouldn't do because Electrify duration is just too good. So, like, you could cut a point here maybe, and a point here, if you don't have 22. If you're using the Aurelis sword, though, as I do, you'll have at least +1, if not +2. So, if you only have +1, maybe just cut 1 Pioneering node to be able to have higher sacrifice, but ideally you want the +2, and then you can just do this. So that's the biggest change, and it's honestly huge. We went from ticking like 1.2, 1.5 mil with dots to ticking for like 3.5 million. So it's pretty sick. And the damage was already good. So this shows how good the build is that I missed like such a big damage multiplier and it still worked. And the other change I made is lunge is an annoying movability. There's better ones. If lunge could be targeted, like didn't have to be targeted, I actually think it feels pretty good to use, but not being able to use it outside of that can kind of stink. So I wanted to get Volatile Reversal in here, which is a skill that just like teleports you forward and you can even reactivate it to go back where you were. While we can't specialize it, it's still pretty good to use anyway. And for a lot of people, it'll feel way better than lunge. And I realized I wasn't actually really losing anything. The main thing I changed is this Prayer Aegis, or Aegis. Guess I don't actually know that, but anyway, Prayer Aegis. I was putting points into it mostly for that 5-point bonus. It's not that good though. We aren't stacking attunement. We're actually intentionally not getting much attunement, so our relic works properly, which requires our attunement and int to be equal. And if we were stacking attunement, we'd also have to stack int, and that's just not going to happen. So I realized this wasn't really giving us that much value. Like, it gives a tiny bit of endurance threshold and some life, but like I don't know, it's not that good, and it wasn't even that much life. So I ended up taking out those 5 points and moving them to the Void Knight tree for this node, Abyssal Endurance, which also gives us health. Roughly the same. I don't think it's exactly the same, but it's roughly the same amount of health. Helps us a little bit with the resistances. And crucially, the 5-point bonus, we get -5% void and physical damage taken, which is actually a really nice bonus. And that lets us get Volatile Reversal. So honestly, it's a brilliant trade-off, and I'm really happy with it. I was also, I didn't know what, I guess, to do with my last 2 points after, you know, for 99 and 100, and I had put 2 in a Valor here. But again, that endurance and health, and it wasn't doing much. Instead, I just moved them over to Holy Precision. It gives us a bit of extra crit multi. I thought about maybe trying to get more points into this, since crit multi is so good when paired with Judgment of the Storm. But I don't know, it's really hard to tell, like when we're getting to these like 1-point efficiencies, without real ways to properly calculate damage. It's hard to say. Like, I could cut a point or 2 from Blinding Light, but then we lose a little bit of Electrify chance. The blind chance doesn't matter, but the Electrify chance might? Like, I don't... It's hard to tell those breakpoints. So for now, I'm just putting the 2 points in Holy Precision, and we're good to go there. And I mean, that's it, really. Otherwise, the build has stayed the same. Another thing you can do that I expect right now, but this is also optional. You can move things around a bit in the Healing Hands tree. A lot of people were pointing this out. Why not make Healing Hands your movement skill? You can do that. You just have to cut a point from Virtue of Patience, and then I also cut a point from Consecrated Storm, and it let me go Rise Chariot to make it a move skill, and Sun Shroud to make you immune while you're moving, which honestly, if you're going to make it a move skill, that you need to take Sun Shroud. One problem with this is it's kind of slow, because we don't have cast speed, and we even get reduced cast speed here with Virtue of Patience. If you can bring yourself to take out another point, you could go Seraph Hands to turn it into a melee attack, so it scales with attack speed, but I don't know, that's up to you. Personally, even with all of that, having tested Seraph Blade, I still don't love Healing Hands just because the movement is kind of slow. It feels more like Shield Charge and like Path of Exile or whatever, and I kind of like the instant teleport. It just feels better to me. But you can even just have this allocated and use it to invuln through stuff if you want, because of Sun Shroud. I'm not very good at doing that yet. I haven't really got used to doing it, but I figured it's worth the points just to give that option. Yeah, that's it. Otherwise, the build's still the same. Most of you have probably seen this skill tree anyway, but it wasn't one I was using in the like when I actually recorded the video, so I wanted to set that clear here. Yeah, I mean, I've hit level 100. I've hit pretty high corruption levels. You probably saw in the video, but like I'm over 500 now. I've pretty much done most of what I want to do, so I probably won't be pushing this character that much more. I could go for Uber Abberoth or see what like the absolute upper edge of corruption is, but I'm not sure I will. For now, I'm just grateful that so many people have found the build interesting and have been giving it a try and helping me improve it even. Thanks so much for watching my previous video. I was a little nervous going into making it because I've never done something like this before, but it worked out really well, and I'm really happy with the reception. And thanks everyone for the support and the encouraging words. I hope you've enjoyed the build, and those who are, early days, I hope everything goes real well for you and you get some great drops. And yeah, have a good one, guys.